Hi, this is Andy of MPRV News. Welcome to the origins of MPRV News, Part 2. My thirst for discovering more punk bands continued. We didn't have the luxury of YouTube back then, so a lot of the record buying was done totally blind. You either asked your friends what the band sounded like, or you didn't mainly hear them for the first time until you brought that slab of vinyl and slapped it onto your turntable. As I continued to check out more punk bands, one thing that continually stuck out was a certain logo that was showing up on the back of a lot of leather jackets. I didn't have a clue what it meant or who the band was, so I asked around. I was told it was a band from America called the Dead Kennedys. I quickly went out and brought the Dead Kennedys debut LP, Fresh Fruit for Rotten Vegetables. I soon found out with the packaging of the LP, front, back, insert, this was a whole different ball game. And I soon quickly realised that the Dead Kennedys were about to change my whole state of thinking in punk, and also the style of punk music I listened to. After the Dead Kennedys' first UK tour, they stated they were surprised how little the UK punks knew about the American punk scene, so they took it upon themselves on their label Alternative Tentacles to release the album Let 'Em Eat Jelly Beans. I have to admit, I wasn't really into the B-side at all, but the A-side just blew my mind. I found the band's names and music very challenging. And Black Flag, what the hell's a Black Flag? And Flipper, that was an Australian kids show we used to all watch in England when we was younger. It wasn't long before some of the bands that played on the A-side started to venture over to the UK. The Bad Brains, when I caught them in Birmingham at Dig Pacificor, were UK subs. To this day, are still the best band I've ever seen live. It was an experience that even then I knew was going to live with me for the rest of my life. DOA played the Leeds to Munda Beer Keller on a Friday night, so I took the 2-hour drive up to Leeds to see them. The gig was being filmed by Jet to Sound for an official release. Sadly, to keep the video free from swearing, they cut songs out like Fucked Up Ronnie, which was a bummer for me because I got on stage and sang the chorus with the band until the security threw me off. I'll always remember that night also for the drive home. It was 2 hours to get to Leeds and 7.5 hours to get back in my clapped up yellow Mini due to thick fog, but it was worth it. One time my parents come up with the bright idea to buy me some punk records for Christmas, so they asked me what I wanted. I wanted the Dead Kennedys Halloween 12-inch, Black Flag Damaged, Pete and the Test Tube Babies Pissed and Proud, and DOA War on 45. They had me write down the records on a piece of paper solely because they didn't want to ask for Pissed and Proud in the record shop in front of people. They went to Wolverhampton to a well-known record shop at the time called Time Machine. I used to shop myself regular and have picked up a lot of great second-hand US hardcore records. Jerry's Kids, Is This My World, DYS, Brotherhood, Circle Jerks, Wild on the Streets. A lot of the UK punks were buying them and returning them as soon as they found out the band was American. A lot of street punks at the time had the attitude that Americans couldn't play punk rock. Totally ridiculous. Some of them told me that, and they had Ramones on the back of their jackets, for Christ's sake. When my parents brought the records from Time Machine, the guy had 3 of them in the shop. One record he suddenly realised was on the back of the lorry that had just pulled away after delivery. So he ran outside after the lorry. My parents followed. He managed to get the lorry to stop, and him and the lorry driver got on the back of the lorry looking for this War on 45 record, which was the one that was missing. Unknown to me, the cover had been changed for the European release, and he pulled it out the box and held it up in mid-air in front of hundreds of people in the main street, shouting, "DOA, War on 45, repent you fucking savages, repent." Needless to say, my mum and dad never asked to buy me records again for Christmas. That record cover is actually my all-time favourite record cover. For the artwork, honestly, not because of what happened to my parents. At this point, I would just like to give a special mention to the legendary John Peel on BBC Radio. He also introduced me to a lot of bands once he started to play the latest American releases. As time wore on, I travelled around the country to see these American bands, places like Leeds, Derby and Nottingham. Only the Bad Brains and Black Flag had played Birmingham, but soon enough another one come along. DOA were playing the Mermaid in Birmingham, a venue I'd heard a lot about. Little did I know that that DOA gig night was going to turn out a lot more different to what I expected, and was about to enter another three-letter world.